with us, then you get access to his entire school area, which is in school as well. But you go to Real Estate B School, and then he's got his own discussions, his own classroom, with all of his different coaching, series, his calendar. So that's why we do things on Wednesdays and Thursdays, because Monday and Tuesday, he's got things loaded up with live sessions that you can join him with, et cetera. So just wanted you to know that that was available to you. But if you're not part of that, or you just, are dealing, or interacting with what we've got, if you go to the classroom and you go here to Lars's page, we've got the entire FSBO strategy, all the action steps that he recommends with the, the resources that he's provided, like the handwritten letters, the printed letters and things like that. And then we also, within our community, had people, kind of pipe in and talk about what they're doing. And I think it's here somewhere. See if I can find it. There's Mark Fay's first aid kit that he offered. So if you didn't get that, that's in the discussion board. Just look for Mark Fay in the general discussion, his first aid kit, which he drops off at the door of the, for sell by owner home. So the last thing I wanted to kind of follow up with, to kind of complete that discussion is, and I put this in there not to make anybody feel bad, but we do spend a great deal of time and money even marketing things that allow us to stay a little bit arm's length away from the actual people that make decisions, the people we're trying to get as clients. So what I mean by that is, we might look up from RedX or some other resource and find all the FSBOs that are out there, and then we'll send them a letter, maybe send them a postcard. You might even drop something off on the door, but we don't actually knock the door. I actually talked to someone that drops a binder. Actually, Lars was talking about it, where he has an agent that got 70 deals last year just from dropping off a binder to all the FSBOs. But what I thought was interesting, and that's still successful, doing that by itself, is that, I don't know if it's like one of those, have you ever done those doorbell runs when you're a kid, when you'd ring a doorbell and run away? We called it something else, which I can't say. We just run away, and we thought it was funny, of course, but sometimes I use that as an example. We have this fear of actually talking to people. And if we spend a ton of time and money sending out information to people that are actually the decision makers because we're too afraid to actually talk to them, there's the opportunity that we're missing, I think, more than anything else. If there's a FSBO in your area, don't be shy. Go knock the door. I mean, the worst they can do is tell you no, and still the opportunity to actually be in front of someone and the decision maker, if you catch them at a time, whether they have an offer on the table or they've received offers or they haven't, they're struggling. I mean, if you think about it, FSBOs struggle with the idea that they have to, if they get an offer, it's usually a lowball offer. It's usually by someone that's trying to take advantage in some way. They want them to do, like Blaine and I are working with seller financing, they're looking for an in with someone that doesn't really have representation. So a lot of times they take advantage of those people. So they get offers, and even if it's a legit offer, sometimes I don't know what to do with earnest money. How do I deal with this contract? They want a home warranty, all those little details that we're involved with. This is a great opportunity to talk to someone about those struggles. You don't have to knock on the door and say, hi, I'm a realtor and I want to, sell your house for you and I can do it better than you can. And, you get into those discussions or arguments, it's not going to do you any good. But if you knock on the door and say, hey, I just want you to know that I am a realtor in this area. This is my area that I specialize in. That means I've got buyers interested in buying here. So I may have someone that may want to buy your home. And I just need to know what you're willing to do with that. Will you be able to pay any sort of commission for that if I bring you a buyer? That's a great way to start the conversation. And then to also say, when you do get an offer that comes in, whether it's from a buyer that I bring or someone else, and even if they do it in, uniquely by themselves, There's the contract. Here, let me show you what a rep C looks like. And all of these things that I've highlighted, remember we've talked about that before when you do a presentation. These are all the things that you as a seller need to really understand, because these are ways that they're determining timing and money that goes along with the sale of a property. I can help you. Here's my handout. So you can still give them that handout if you want. They don't have to make a decision right there. So you give them something that they can think about. But I bet you that you will get a lot more deals talking to people instead of fearfully marketing to them because you don't want to talk to them. Sometimes we use marketing as a crutch to keep us from having to actually talk to the people that are going to give us the deals. So, you know, again, I don't want you to drive all around the whole Wasatch Front to FSBOs, you know, and make that your only method of getting new leads. But if you pick your farm, your area that you want to work in, you find those FSBOs that are in your area. You don't need to go to Red X to do that. You can literally go many times on KSL and you can find them. But again, some of them won't be listed there because they don't know how to do that. So use a tool or a resource like that. But go knock the door. Introduce yourself. Own the fact that you own that area as a real estate agent. And if you're doing the other things that we recommend, like your homes for sale and rent in that area, we've talked about many people wanting to get that, Facebook group going. If you have other advertising that you do and you're putting stuff out on social media, especially on the local social media pages that everybody are a part of, I think you'll find that those people will recognize you. Like, yeah, I've seen you. I've done that before, where people say, oh yeah, I've seen you on your posts, because I put stuff out on the Eagle Mountain City Center or Eagle Mountain Community Facebook group. Every time I have a new listing, I put it out there. And so I'm literally putting stuff out there 2-3 times a month on the Facebook group where all the Eagle Mountain City, Eagle Mountain Community members go to. There's like 30,000 members of that. So there's a lot of people are seeing the stuff I'm putting out there. So I knock on the door and say, I'm the agent for this area. Now they believe it. They've seen me. And I want to either bring you a buyer or help you with the buyers that come in. I've got lots of, resources. I know I have to charge for my services, but that's what I do for a living and I'm really good at it. Here's some information. Have a nice day. They don't have to make a decision right there. I'll bet you that you'll convert 10 times more of those conversations than you will by sending out postcards and emails and never talking to them. You can still do those things, postcards, and letters, but you're going to do so much better if you actually talk to those people. So I'll get off my soapbox. Any experiences you've all had with the FSBO as we kind of wrap this up? Effort this, over the last week since we last talked? Should I bring up the list that Braden sent me of what you guys committed to do and call you out on it? Or do you want to just volunteer? Or that's why we don't have as many people today, because they're like, I don't want to be called out on this. Sid, were you able to do anything on your end? You got Lori on here, Denise, there's quite a few people on. Tell me what you guys did. Come on, give me some.
I sent out about 8 different handwritten notes. I haven't heard any back from anyone yet, but I did send out notes, and I'm trying to find more. I was going to go into Red X, but then I decided I'm just going to use, like you said, I kind of look around my neighborhood local, but also try to find some off of Facebook Marketplace or KSL.com. I've had success with those in the past. So
good. Now, Sid, the next step, go knock the door. Knock.
Lane, that is the next step.
You came up on your camera. Did you make an effort on any of those?
So I've sent out about 105 expired letters this week.
105. Wow, that's got to be probably a record for everybody here. Congratulations. That's great. So how long did it take you to do that?
All week.
All week. Well, not all together. How long did it take you in terms of actual time on those things? Maybe a couple hours?
No, it was more than that, because I went through and I customized my approach that I wanted to take. I took what Lars was teaching us and I just made it my own.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took a little bit to put that together. And then I went through, I didn't send it to every expired. I kind of handpicked ones that I wanted to target. And so I probably, I mean, I have an assistant that did a lot of the legwork for me. So me, myself, I probably put in, I don't know, maybe 10 hours into prepping it, but moving forward, it'll be easy.
Yeah. So you actually worked on your whole strategy,
Mm-hmm.
kind of going through and putting together all the pieces so that you can do this going forward. I love that, because honestly, and I love Blaine because of his commitment to, when he decides to do something, he goes all in. And by doing that, you're going to get better results as that, you know, down the road. It's kind of like an exercise program or a diet or something like that. You can't just, you know, go to the gym one day and expect everything to change, right? You've got to come up with your plan or your strategy, you know, in the sense of a metaphor of a workout. And then you've got to do it, you know, consistently day after day. That's when the results start to hit, sometimes a month or two later. So I hope that those of you that have made any sort of effort whatsoever with your FSBO, that it's not a one and done thing, that you've actually set up a commitment to doing this more consistently. And that's when you're going to see the results. Everyone that I've ever talked to about any marketing or sales strategy, it never happened, or rarely happened just from the first go at it. You have to create the strategy, make a commitment, hold yourself accountable to it, or have others hold you to it, accountable to it, and then you keep doing it. So thank you, Blaine, for sharing that, and good luck. And I still recommend, I'm going to say it, pick a few of those and go knock the door. Seriously, get out there, because you're never going to know how people respond to your letters, which is going to help you do them better if you don't talk to them. It would be even insightful for you within the strategy you've created to actually knock the door of those that you sent letters to and say, hey, I sent you a letter. Did you get it? I'm Blaine. I'm the guy that sent it. What did you think? What can I do to help? Here's some more information. Not only would that help convert, hopefully, some of those people you talk to, but you might even find that you get an idea of how people are responding to the letter in the first place.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Mark, Robinette, I know you're that kind of guy too, that if you decide to do something, you go all in on it. What have you done with this FSBO challenge?
Well, I went to the door, but it was vacant. There's no. It was good.
Yeah.
I found out that it was the lady who advertised it. It's her grandma's house, and she had meant that she's verbally going to go under contract with somebody else, but she felt that the guy was taking advantage of her. It's like, well, that's what happened. You know, when you're not paying a commission for a realtor, they're going to take that amount of money and deduct it. And so, anyway, we talked about it, and she said, call me back on October 7th. Like, okay, I'll call you back. And then I said, is it okay if I send you my contact information? And then, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. She didn't rip your head off. She didn't spit on you. Yeah. She didn't slap you. She didn't yell at you. It actually, you got away unscathed and maybe even a lead. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. And then I liked what Mark had set in his first aid kit. I'm going to send some stuff over to her. It's like, hey, here's the seller disclosure leads, and here's this other stuff. I just want to help out. That's
awesome. Good job, Mark. Okay, I'm still waiting to see Braden. I don't see Dave on yet, so you just let me know when Dave's ready to go.
Yeah, I'll go pop my head in his office real quick.
Okay, great. Okay, so while we're waiting for Dave, anybody else? Or we got Mark Fay on here too, I believe, right? Anyone else do something this week that has to do with FSBO that helped you to either get ready to see the value, that maybe had a success, anything at all?
So I did. Well, my computer died. I had to get a new computer. I got all that set up, a new printer. I got set up with RedX, and they get it takes about 24 or 48 hours for them to have all the expires and FSBOs like sent to you, I guess. So anyways, I got my letters printed out. I got addresses and Actually I went around my neighborhood handing out flyers as well, and that was like 110 homes that I hit. So I'm on my way. I didn't get exactly where I wanted to be. My computer died, but I got all it. Takes me a couple days to get a computer set up. I suck.
Yeah, it does. That's a big deal. Well,
But
so you said
anyways.
that you also went out to your neighborhood. What did you give to everybody in the neighborhood?
I'm holding an event. My event. I sent you an
Oh,
event.
good.
Yeah. So anyways. So I'm on my way. I didn't get where I wanted to be, but I also have the letters printed out and stuff like that. So I just need the addresses and write down the names and then mail them. I even have the stamps and envelopes and everything. So there you go.
Nice. Anybody else?
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Lori.
I got the Facebook group set up and I've sent out invites to everybody who's affiliated with our business site. And so I'm just waiting for people to join. And just had a few questions for you or Braden or somebody later on some of the details of those sites. But
Okay.
Jeff has been sending out letters to FISBOs. No responses yet, but
Yeah.
we're trying.
No, that's great. You know, and as I said before, Liz, you knocked on a door. Awesome. You want to share what happened? Did anybody answer? Say?
Yeah, it was really so much fun.
Okay, you can't say anything negative or they'll turn everybody off. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I had so much fun. It was the best. So I got to this house. It was a little bit of a cheat from what you asked me to do because it wasn't a for sale by owner, but it was somebody that we're trying to get them to sell us their property.
Mm.
We want them to, so I knocked on this door. We get up to the house. I have my husband drive me and I get up there and I'm like, oh, I think I'm chickening out. I don't know if I'm going to get out. And then these two dogs come up barking, two big labs. And my husband, being from South America where dogs are not nice, says, don't get out of the car. You're going to get bit. And so I'm like, well, let's just see if they're nice or not. Like, if they snarl at me, I'll run back in. But they were nice. They actually, like, I felt like they were my two little emotional support animals. And they were just really cute and trying to jump on me and play. And I love dogs. So I need to bring a dog with me, I decided. And I knocked on the door and the guy answered. And I've been trying to figure out where this owner is for months. So this got me to go and do it. And he's considering selling the property to my client. So hopefully something really good will come from it. And I did it.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
He actually said he was trying to find a ghost company for a property that they were looking for. And I said, well, I've knocked on your door. I can do it again. Let me know.
You proved.
All right, Mike. Dave is here whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'll introduce him in just a sec. But hey, Liz, I love that. Thanks for sharing that because I believe sincerely that the direct interaction with people, especially now where people have been sitting and waiting to buy or sell. It's been 3.5 years now since interest rates, or 4 years, I think, since interest rates went up, and they went up very sharply. And people during this time have been sitting on properties that they've been thinking about buying and selling for all that time, but they haven't been able to act on it. You going out there and literally, you could probably talk to anybody, even if it's not a FSBO, just like Liz did, and find that there's something they've been thinking about. And if you can strike up a conversation with them and you do it in a way where it doesn't sound like a sales pitch, you might be surprised how they'll open up and say, yeah, I might do that, or I'm thinking of selling my property, or something like that. So who I want to introduce you to now, it says Wrecking Ball on his, he's the Wrecking Ball. And I love that because the thing is Dave has absolutely no fear to talk to anybody. And he's always doing it in a service-based way. I mean, everything about Dave is about helping people. I mean, that's his whole mantra. He's got a company now that he started. He was a loan officer with Intercap Lending, And kind of like what Josh did with Intercap, I'm sorry, with Captivate Agent, is he spun off with Dave a company where they provide insurance to our clients, to everybody that needs to that owns a house or owns a car and anything else that needs to be insured, I think. So I'm excited to introduce Dave to you. And as I mentioned in the introduction before that I sent out, that I'm going to have Dave call every homeowner in my database, or his team. Of course, he has a team that does this, where they explain what they can do to help. Again, it's a service offering to make sure that what insurance they have is the right insurance. They're not overinsured or underinsured, and then hopefully save them money. He saved our family $4,000 this year in our insurance. We gave him our rental properties and our property because we have a lot going on. And then we have our kids' cars and ours and all that together, $4,000. That's a lot of money, $300 and so a month that he's saving us. Now imagine Dave's team calling your people, and he'll do it for you and mention your name. You know, say, I'm calling on behalf of Mark Robinette, you know, and I know you bought a home with him last year. Everything's crazy when you first buy that house. And, you know, sometimes what you got in terms of insurance, you just signed the paper because you had to sign 300 of them. So now I'm here to help you make sure that that was the right insurance that you got, if I can save you money, et cetera. So I'll let Dave take it from here. He does it better than I do. But I am so excited to have him talk about what he can do to help you stay in touch in a meaningful way. And then as Alyssa goes out there and gives them their home report and stuff like that, it just adds value to that service. So Dave, you take it over.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much, Mike. And thanks for everybody. I'm sorry I'm so late today. Got a little hung up. But yeah, as Mike mentioned, my background really is in loans. I've been doing that now for 17, 18 years. The focus on the loan side was really to scale. We did a lot of mailers. We did a lot of digital ads, a lot of online stuff. Very, very service oriented. And that's the one thing that probably the best thing that I learned over the last, let's call it 20 years, was really just how to properly take care of people, both over the phone and of course in person. So that is now catering. We're using a lot of the same things that we learned, and we're kind of moving over to the insurance world. Now, in terms of insurance, the one thing I'm learning is insurance companies, for the most part, can be difficult to work with. We saw that from a loan perspective. They don't understand deadlines always. They don't understand the difficulty of debt to income. They don't understand how to ultimately get things taken care of, especially in a timely way. Deadlines, no doubt, they are, well, let's just say that they're real. And we like to stay as much out of the way as we can. So one of the things that we're trying to provide both the agents as well as LOs is the flexibility of getting you what you need, when you need it, and how you need it. Now, here's the next part about the insurance game. The other part I am learning is, all right, don't take this the wrong way, anybody, but most people do not understand insurance. They also don't understand what they currently have insured. We are seeing a lot of folks where we go to quote them, and we find out that they're not just overinsured, but they're paying on policies for items that they don't even own. Be it cars, be it motorcycles, things that they've sold in the past year, but the agent doesn't reach out often. Honestly, it's just kind of just keep paying and everything will work out fine. The agent's not proactively reaching out to review those policies on an annual basis. And that's the other thing that we've learned now doing this for, well, what, a couple months we've been doing it, is if we can stay in contact with everybody at least once a year, meaning we contact individuals on their anniversary date or their policy renewal date, we try to reach out at least a month in advance for two reasons. Number one, of course, just to make sure that we have that touch with them, so then that way they know who we are. We continue to build that relationship and the credibility. But number two, and perhaps most important, we want to verify if their current insurance is the best they can get or if we can improve upon it. Now, where this is really translating over to agents as well as LOs is we try to partner up with every LO. We try to partner up with every agent. And the goal is to provide value. Now, to provide value, I know it's hard. Everyone wants money. But in terms of just giving you money, that's going to be hard, right? We can't just pay everybody. There's lots of stuff against that. But what we can do is help you build your business. And this is where you have someone on the back end reaching out to your folks to keep them with you. Now, here's where it typically happens. When we get either some type of notification stating that an individual is going to let their policy go, well, we want to find out why. Is it a change in mortgagee because they're refinancing? Are they selling that home? Are they going to be buying a new one? What does that look like? And we're already having good success with these conversations and just saying, hey, we just noticed this was the case. We'll, of course, go ahead and make the changes that you recommend. But in addition to that, we want to get you back to the referring entity that we worked with. Now, so for agents, as well as, of course, loan officers, it now becomes really a cohesive team where we're working hand in hand with you. And it's a relationship of give and take. We try to give stuff back to you as much as we can. And same thing, we're always in contact with these people. Now, from a loan officer perspective, I think you guys probably all feel the same way for the most part, but it's very easy to think, hey, look, we have a transaction, that transaction's closed. You usually don't have a lot of contact with that individual. Is that fair to say? Fair to say? Got a couple of heads nodding, we'll take it. Well, the reality of it is the reason why they don't have a lot of contact with you is you don't have time to call every past client up. And not only that, that transaction's done, it's completed, you have to move on to the next. Now, as a loan officer, that's what I came to really understand, is it was hard to keep in contact with everybody. However, on the insurance side, it is our job to continue that relationship and continue to grow as time goes. So to have someone on the back end always taking care of your individual, we log everything. We make sure that, of course, it's tagged to the referring entity. And the goal there is to, of course, give as much back as we can. Now, in terms of value, if we can continue to maintain that relationship with us, that's obviously going to carry over with you guys as well. So that's really kind of a good summary of what Insurit does. That's kind of our approach. Right now, we are working with all of Intercap. We're working with their LOs as well as their servicing department. It's grown really quite fast. We're right around 40 policies a week, which people in the insurance industry say that's really good. Our goal is to get to 100. So if that also gives you an idea, I guess, of more of the flow and the process that we have now set up, it's not just, hey, call, sell, sell, sell. It's let's take care of our relationships. And our relationships are with LOs, of course, Intercap, of course, agents, other contacts that we've had. So that's our goal, is to make sure that we focus on working with you. Any questions?
Hey, Dave, let's kind of give us a scenario where you're going to take my database of my homeowners that I have, and you're going to call them just before that year anniversary is up. Let's say that's one of the scenarios, not just when you already have done the insurance with them, then you can follow up when changes happen, right? So I get that. But let's say maybe they don't have insurance with you, like I didn't. So what is your staff going to say to my client? Kind of what's that conversation look like to help them feel like, one, it's not a sales call, it's a service call. And two, that I'm being mentioned because you're calling on my behalf in the way that I look at it, right? Because they're my clients. I want them to feel like this is a service I'm offering you. I might even preempt it with information like, Dave and his team are going to call you just before your insurance comes due to make sure that you got the right insurance and that you're not, overpaying, underpaying, et cetera. So, take advantage of it, right? So what's that conversation going to look like from your guys' end?
Oh, I love it. And so, yeah, like Mike just mentioned, we're making those phone calls. We're making a lot of phone calls. And the intention, again, is to add value. And one way we can add value with people right out of the gate is to save them money. The second way that we can add value, of course, is if we can't save you money, we can confirm that your current insurance is as good as it gets and that you're right where you need to be. So the way that our flow works is we're identifying anyone who has an insurance premium that's going to expire in the next month or more, probably within the next month. We try to stick to a month. We'll reach out to them. You can call it a insurance review, but we'll review their current insurance, review all their assets, make sure that the coverage is in place, make sure that there have been no other life events that have changed. And then at that point, we'll go ahead and confirm, hey, your current insurance is written right and it's as good as it gets. Or if it's not, that's when we can at least go ahead and provide or present a new option. So that's a discussion. It's very hands-off, and honestly, to earn business, look, we get it. We have to be competitive. And that's the goal. Is your insurance as good as it gets right now? And can we save you any money? If it's as good, great, stay where you're at. But then next year, we have the same conversation. And that's where those touch points are important. So even if we don't win today, hey, we still have next year. Now we do have additional touch points throughout the year. So we'll continue to drift that way. Does that answer your question, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I think at least what was interesting to me is the thought of what that conversation would actually be like. So I'm imagining Abby, for example, because Abby's one of the, the girls that work on your team. I could imagine her calling up and say, hey, Sam, this is Abby. I work with Insurance, but I also work with Mike Anderson, your agent that helped you buy your house. And this is a service call. I don't know if he mentioned it to you, but every year we make sure that our, that Mike's clients have the right insurance. And I know when you got your home and probably didn't think too much about it because everything else that was going on about that, but we're going to take a review of that. Is that all right if we kind of look at what insurance you have and then see if we can, give you better insurance, save you money, or just let you know that you've got exactly what you need? Does that make sense? That's kind of what I'm imagining the conversation going. And then of course, if they're interested, then they're saying, yeah, here's my address. And you could say, well, yeah, we already have it. I already have in front of me, I can, because you can pull that up, right? You already know, even if it's not your insurance, you can know by the house and maybe even the policy what they have, and you can give it ideas right away. Does that sound right? Or kind of give me an idea of how that conversation would look like from the beginning, stage.
Yeah, that's really it, is just making sure that we're following up with them and giving them the opportunity to, again, provide value, which is to save them money. But more importantly, we also have those conversations. And by conversation, have there been any life-changing events? For example, selling a house, what does that look like? Refinancing, what does that look like? So then that way, of course, we can continue to plant the seed for you, and someone's going to be doing that at all times. And the way that we have it flagged is within our CRM, we tag the referring individual or the referring partner. So that way, that name is always there and always top of mind when we make those phone calls. But again, most people, look, can we save them money? Can we provide them value? And one way we can provide them value is if we don't save them money is confirming that their current policy is as good as it gets. And that's where it comes. Again, maybe it's, we're obviously going to name drop because people recognize your name, your contacts. So we want to make sure that we keep you included. But more importantly, it helps opens the door. But Mike, you're spot on that conversation. That's exactly how it goes.
Okay, great. Anybody else have questions for Dave about what this would look like? And are you interested in having his team, like I'm going to do, contact your homeowners annually to kind of help review that? Because to me, I can imagine that someone that owns a house doesn't really want a conversation about, are you ready to buy or sell? But that could come from that conversation if Abby calls and says, we can help you get the right insurance. Like, yeah, we're also going to sell or something. And then they give it back to us. Who would want that? And Dave, after they share their questions, you're going to have to give out your information so they know how to get started. Okay. So any questions out there or comments or thoughts about that, Sid?
Yeah, just real quick. So I guess my concern would be that it's just another sales pitch or another salesperson coming to them. And I know you've probably heard that before, but my question was, is there a way we can get some posts from you and things like that we can put out there and give these guys an option to opt in to receiving a phone call from you or some more information from you? Because I know that at some point, a lot of people would want to know if their insurance is right. I mean, all of us, I think, are always looking to make sure we save or the most efficient with our money spending and everything. Is there something you guys have or posts or things like that we can use to piggyback with some of the stuff we're doing?
That's a great question. I'm not at the point yet where I have posts per se or opt-ins, opt-outs. Right now, it's really just on a case-by-case basis. So individuals who want us to go ahead and call their database, we're on it. The way that we flag everything in our system is if they express that they're not interested today, then we have a nurture campaign. That's just going to be emails and texts that go out once a month. I don't have a strong social media presence yet. I don't have a strong online presence yet, in large part because we haven't needed it. We have enough just with the referrals that's keeping us busy, but the intention is to go there, Sid. And as that content becomes available, of course, we would love to give that to you. As far as opt-in, opt-out, ultimately, we have you choose if you want to opt in, opt out. You control what information you share to us or with us. However, the sales approach, just to be very clear and upfront, the sales approach is not high pressure. The sales approach is to provide value. Once we provide value, meaning we can demonstrate or show a policy or insurance coverage that improves upon what they currently have, we simply present that to them, and then it's up to them to make the decision. We are not going to hound them. We're not going to blow them up. We're not going to require that they come over. That's not it at all. And the reason why is because we feel that if we do our job right and we educate about the insurance principles and make sure that they're properly insured, we're going to build a stronger relationship where they're going to want to work with us. So that's where we own that. It's not going to be a high pressure thing. In the same field or the same mindset, if I can't save them money, we're going to tell them that as well. Hey, look, this year you're best off where you're currently at. But again, from that conversation, the goal is to build rapport, add value to that individual, which is confirming that their current insurance is right. They don't need to worry about that. And then that way, hey, it's kind of like having a good report, right? Everything's good, nothing to change.
Yeah. And I think to Sid's point, I mean, I know you, Dave, and we've worked together for years. So
Yeah.
I have no doubt that that call would be more of a service-based, message, not something that seems salesy, because obviously we don't want our clients to think that we're extending their information out to a bunch of other vendors that are going to sell them stuff.
Yeah.
But I think to Sid's point, even if he created it himself, he might want to create an email because we have a CRM that they have, and he can actually send out an email or even a brochure to all of his homeowners. And I could imagine that he would want to maybe preempt all this to say, I've got a partner that I work with now that looks at your homeowner's insurance and can even look at car and other insurance to make sure that you're not overpaying. And he is actually here to help you. If you would like him to contact you, let me know. And so I think that's where Sid's coming from is instead of having you just contact all of his people, he wants to do the initial contact and then wait till they hear back. So I'm assuming you're still all right with that, because he would still send you, some business that way. But does that sound about right, Sid? How you would feel a little bit more comfortable approaching it that way?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, 95% of my business comes from my past clients and SOI. So really delicate. I want to make sure I don't rock the boat and certainly don't want to scare anyone off and say, hey, like you said, I'm not sending you guys to salespeople. I'm not selling your information. I'm just offering a service, or I'm wanting to offer a service to you that I find valuable, that I think you would too. And then they kind of go that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it. And I think you're spot on, Sid. And yeah, let me go ahead and look into what kind of content we can build around. We can also send people we could come up with a quick template. That's not going to be a big deal. But if you go to like Insurit, insuritnow.com, that's the website. And up there is a link where they can request a quote on their own free will. And what it does is it actually ties to an online system, which is really cool. So once you click on that get a quote, all it asks is for name and email address. And once that's submitted, it will take you to a different site where they can upload. And by upload, they just have to select their current insurance carrier, enter in their username and password that they use to sign in, and then it will send us their current information. So then that way, it's not a long conversation of, hey, what assets do you have? What's the VINs, the year, the make, all that junk. It's going to be really quick. But it sounds like I need to create a post like that for Sid. So then that way you can have people opt in, opt out.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we're trying to support all of these agents as well through Captivate, and we want to support these kind of service offerings that you're offering, Dave, I'll make this commitment. I will create in our CRM a template that you guys can all use that would give them that link, and you could send. I think the best time to send this, in my opinion, is to that first year anniversary. That's the most powerful one, because I imagine that a lot of those people that we had in the, in settlement, signing all those papers, and insurance is part of it. They probably have no clue and don't even care at that point who they're insured with. They're just glad they got insurance so they could buy the dang house, right? So that's not even something that's on their mind. But that first year, I bet that would be a very powerful message to give to that first year homeowner, right? Oh yeah, I didn't really take a look at that. I don't even know what kind of insurance I have. I don't even know who it's with. I bet I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. So that would be a really good message to send to those first time buyers that might be different, or not first time buyers, but the first anniversary of buying a property, that we could send something out like that. And then for the rest of them, you could just send out a general message saying, hey, if you ever want to look at your insurance, I know a guy and he's awesome, and this company, here's a link, we could do something like that.
And there was a chat, Sam, yeah, you're spot on. It gives you another reason to reach back out and touch base with people. I'll tell you, as a loan officer, look, I've been I've been there. We've done that. We've closed literally lots and lots and lots of loans. But the trick to a lot of what's taking place in today's market is relationships. And that's where we want to continue to build and add value to that relationship that you have with your people. So that's where we want to work with you. We want to build a relationship with you as well. But the goal is, again, to add value, not only to you, but most important, your clients. Because if we do that, hey, they're going to keep coming back. People just continue to trust. So that'd be great. And there's always additional things that we will be building out online. We just haven't got to that point yet. And I think it was Sam. No, I think it was Sid, yeah, sorry. Sid mentioned it. Just some posts, things like that. We certainly can create those, and I'll keep you all posted. Mike, I'll keep you posted too, but I think that's something we can create in a way that's passive, yet provides that value we're looking for.
Okay, perfect. And again, for those that might be on here from other states, how many states are you licensed in?
We're currently in 34 states. And we have multiple carriers, and that's the other advantage. We're an independent insurance agency. We're not captive. So I'm able to shop, and I'm going to take every single transaction that we look at. We're shopping at a minimum 3, usually 4 to 5 different carriers.
Perfect, like a broker does.
Yep. And the reason why we do that, again, is, look, it is extra work, but we are convinced that if we provide value up front, over time, we're going to build that relationship, and it's going to provide value long term. So then that way we talk about we're all building a book of business. That's exactly what it is. And we want to work with you, meaning we want to give back to you. And same thing, just continue to work and support you however needed.
Okay, that's perfect. Any other last comments or questions for Dave before we head out?
Yeah, I have a quick question for you, Dave. Do you by chance have Spanish speakers?
Yes, sir. We do. However, we're not totally comfortable in that Spanish arena yet. I know that contradicts it, but we have closed a couple. I've got one individual who did serve a mission, and she does speak fluent Spanish. It's just getting up to speed with the insurance terminology. So yes, we can handle it, but we're not as strong as we would like to be yet. So to give you some context there, I've got a couple LOs here at Intercap who have graciously been willing to help us with some of the language in Spanish. So Mark, to give you a point, I want to make sure that we provide value even to those Hispanic individuals who speak Spanish. And part of that is speaking their language and using terms that they understand and we understand. So are we perfect at that yet? No. Can we quote? Yes. Are we trying to be better? You better believe it.
Perfect. Thank you.
And our Spanglish is amazing.
Very good.
All right. Any other questions for Dave? Okay. So as we sign off, please keep your commitments to your FSBO strategy. Don't give up on it. Don't just send out the letters and walk away, especially those that send out lots of them. Remember, like Liz found out, knocking a door makes a difference. And then obviously with Dave, give him a chance to provide and his team this level of service. If you need to preempt it, get them engaged first with the idea of that, so it doesn't feel like you just sold their your database out to a vendor. He's cool with that. So please, take advantage of this, because honestly, this is a great reason to reach out to people and get them, happy that you're not just one and done with them, that you're there to help them as they get through the next phase of homeownership.
And Mike, if I could just lead just with one quick testimony, I know everyone's got to go, but we had an LO sent over a lead, a referral. That individual was shopping rates with multiple different lenders. We stayed in contact with the individual, built that relationship. He let us know that he was shopping. So of course we talked to the loan officer, but ultimately he decided to stick with that loan officer, which was great. But then that transaction fell out. but the whole time we stayed in contact with that individual. They just went under contract again. So there's that component as well, where we truly do work behind you to provide that value to new homeowners, and then we stay in contact even if something doesn't come to fruition. So just a heads up, that's another example where we try to provide value to help get people on the phone, and that's happening all the time now.
That's awesome. Okay, well, thank you, Dave, for your time. Thank you, everybody else, for being here today, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks to all.
Thank you.